Welcome to a Good Enough Parent podcast. What's in a name? Ever wonder why there are so many names and labels for parenting style these days? From gentle parenting to authoritative methods, the names and the labels seem to go on and on. But fear not. Today, we are demystifying these terms and shedding light on what they mean for you and your family. We're going to dive into the diverse approaches parents take to raise their children. I'm Michele Johnson, certified parent coach and your parent journey travel guide, and I'm excited to embark on this journey together. But first, I want to share a funny story. I didn't actually learn my first name until I was in the 4th grade at the ripe old age of 9. Most folks assume my middle name is my first name. And to add to the confusion, I even just introduced myself on this podcast with my middle name. But hey, stay tuned until the end. I might just reveal my first name as a surprise twist. Now, let's talk about parenting. Isn't it wow how many different names and labels there are for how we raise our kids these days? Back in the day, I don't recall this much chatter about the right way to parent when my kids were born. But times are changing, and so is our perspective on parenting. Now, if you're on Instagram, you have probably stumbled upon all sorts of buzzwords for parenting styles. Gentle parenting, conscious parenting, permissive parenting, traditional parents, authoritative parents, and the list goes on and on. I need you to put on your life jackets because we are diving headfirst into the sea of parenting styles and its impacts on families. But before we start, I have an important disclaimer for you. I want you to know your parenting style is more than any label. So let's discover why. One of the most talked about parenting styles is gentle parenting. So what is gentle parenting? Basically, their premise is that you are honoring the child's experience. Gentle parenting says we're going to prioritize treating our children with respect, honoring their emotions, and guiding them through positive reinforcement. Their principles include respect your child's autonomy and individuality. There's an emphasis on positive communication and conflict resolution, and they avoid punitive discipline in favor of teaching and guiding. So next, there's one you might not be familiar with, and it might be called other things, but basically it's attachment parenting. It's like nurturing the connection. Attachment parenting focuses on fostering a strong emotional bond between parent and child. These principles include responding promptly to your child's needs, including feeding and comforting, providing physical closeness, emphasizing sensitive and responsive caregiving to promote a secure attachment, while attachment parenting nurtures the parent-child connection. Then there's this one I saw on a TV show. They call it free-range parenting. It's balancing freedom and safety. Free-range parents advocate for giving children the freedom to explore and play independently with minimal adult supervision. Its principles include allowing children to engage in age-appropriate activities without constant oversight, encouraging risk-taking and independence to promote confidence and self-reliance, establishing clear boundaries and safety guidelines while respecting your child's autonomy. Okay, now I know you heard of this one. That's that helicopter parent. You know, they navigate anxiety and they try to control everything. Helicopter parenting is usually characterized by someone who is over-involved and excessively controlling. These parents are driven by anxiety and fear of harm. So their principles include constant vigilance and intervention in your child's activities and decisions, high levels of parental anxiety and fear of potential dangers or failures, limited opportunities for children to explore and learn from their mistakes independently. Now, this next one was new to me, y'all, when I did the research for this episode. I have never heard of a lawnmower parent, but I'm gonna share it with you anyway. Clearing the path of hindering growth is their premise. Lawnmower parents take helicopter parent to the extreme by removing all the obstacles before their children even encounter them. So their principles include anticipating and preemptive, removing challenges or difficulties from their child's path, overprotecting children from facing consequences or even learning from their mistakes. Ooh, I met a few of them when I was a principal, y'all. Limiting opportunities for children to develop problem-solve skills and develop resilience. The authoritative parent. So I want to make clear, we're not going to confuse this because there's an authoritative parent and then there's an authoritarian parent. But the authoritative parent is the parenting styles where parents are nurturing, responsive, and supportive, yet they set firm limits for their children. They attempt to control their children's behavior by explaining rules, discussing their child's reasoning, listening to their child's viewpoint, but they don't always accept their child's viewpoint. Authoritative parents focusing on having a right balance between boundaries and connection. Parents do not focus only on the limits, but also on being warm and nurturing to their children while setting them. Now, if you are a parent from Generation X, you probably were an authoritarian parent, or you were parented by an authoritarian parent. Just like the name suggests, these parents focus on authority. This style of parenting is high on control and very low on connection. They focus on enforcing rules, punishment, and consequences rather than the why behind the behavior. Authoritarian parents, children are expected to listen and obey without questions. So phrases like, because I said so, y'all heard that before, are very common. Parents with an authoritarian style are also more likely to use corporal punishment. So as you listen to this list of different styles, you're probably like me and you saw a little bit of yourself as a parent in each one. So that's the problem with labels, y'all. They don't really define who we are. We really don't do anything just based on a label. So what does it really mean to be a parent? Parenting is one of God's most important callings. As we navigate the parenting journey, we'll discover that parenting really does not come with a manual, but the Bible offers the blueprint for how to parent like Jesus and our Heavenly Father. Our responsibility as parents is to shepherd the children God has given us, trusting in His power to help us raise godly young men and women who love Him with all their heart and soul. So as I begin to wrap up this episode, I want you to remember there is no one-size-fits-all approach. After all, you are your child's parent for a reason. You're the best one for the job. It is essential for you to find what works for your family's unique needs. Remember, parenting is a journey of discovery and growth. I want you to embrace this journey with confidence and joy. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of parenting styles. You don't want to miss the next episode. I will be joined by a parent, and we're going to talk about how she began to transform how she approached parenting and what style works best for her family and what changes she made to her own parenting. I'm Michele Johnson, and until next time, remember to parent with love, understanding, and a healthy dose of flexibility. I look forward to exploring more parenting topics with you in the future. Stay tuned for our next episode, and remember, you are not alone on this journey. Take care. I'll see you next time. Hold on. Before I forget, did you guess my first name? Drum roll, please. It's Ingrid. Yep, that's it. We'll chat about it later. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. Remember, parenting is a journey, not a destination. See you next time.